My name is Hudson Farrow. I'm 19 and I'm from Austin, Texas.
And before we jump into it, make sure you are subscribed, as one of the first 50,000 subscribers here will win $1,000, and that'll be announced the week we hit 50,000. So what do you do in Austin, Texas for a living, or school, or what?
I'm not in school, and I had kind of a small business I was running, and right now I'm kind of in a startup phase of a business, and I currently do not have any income or really any job.
Okay. How's not having an income?
It's a little nerve-wracking at times, but I mean, I had a good amount of money saved up from my last business venture, so it's not too bad. I mean, I know how much longer I have left until I'm broke, so I know I always have a fallback, or some sort of small income coming in. So
19 in a startup situation with money saved up from a past venture or work or whatever, and now you know how much time is left. Well, first of all, how much time is left?
Probably about, I think, like 4 to 5 months.
Okay, it's not a lot of time.
Right.
What was the past venture?
Window washing. I had a window washing business.
How long did you do that? You're only 19.
I did that for 2 months.
How much did you save up?
I did that for 4 weeks consistently total, because I was traveling in between.
And how much did you save up in 4 weeks?
In 4 weeks, I made $14,000.
Why didn't you just continue doing that and make $14,000 a month? What?
Because I definitely had the option to stay in that business and scale it, but I thought about the amount of time it would take me to do that, and the amount of, it would give me a pretty big headache doing that. And I just figured there's an easier, more there's like other business I can start that have way more opportunity to make me way more money.
Okay, what is this easier opportunity that'll make you way more money than $14,000 a month at 19?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
What, you're trying to figure out the business, so you stopped?
Well, see, here's the thing.
Before
I know that I can start washing windows again whenever I want, and so it's basically like a small little retirement for me to try to figure out something else out. Because say 5 months goes by and I'm getting close to where I'm getting uncomfortable with my financial situation, and I don't have that much money. I know I can just go start washing windows again.
Why'd you not like it? Because you had to do a lot of work?
Because I had to do a lot of work, and
if you were bringing in that much money, you could have easily brought other people in to do the work while you continued to form the business connections to get those jobs.
It sounds a lot easier than it actually is, because they're as far as window washing goes, it's not as easy as you think. Washing a window is not that simple. I'm not trying to get too far deep into it, but the quality control aspect of scaling that business is what made me uninterested.
Fun fact, my dad is an owner of a window washing company.
Really?
Yeah, so I have some insights into this.
Oh, boy.
And he has quite a few employees.
Right.
Yeah. That is something you could have done. You would have had to, of course, search long and hard for qualified employees, but making that much money, you could have brought someone in to take the pressure off of you for that daily drive where you then could have focused more on expanding the clientele.
Right. Yeah, and I knew this all along, and my whole the reason I stopped doing it is because of the fact I knew if I spent a year scaling the window washing business, it would make me X amount of money, but it would also take me this much time. And I looked at that and was like, okay, that is not worth it to me, because I'm so young, I don't really have any necessary expenses, and I always have this as a fallback opportunity. And so, why don't I go leverage my time somewhere else in an opportunity that could make me a lot more money?
Okay, where are you leveraging your time?
In finding new ideas.
Why couldn't you find your new ideas while you did this part-time?
Because it was too much. I was working, whenever I had a business partner, so we were splitting everything 50-50, which I didn't necessarily have to. I would have made more money without a business partner, but it was kind of a lot more fun to do it with a business partner. But we were working 8 to 10 hour days, and I didn't want to do anything afterwards.
Yeah, I remember when I just said, why don't you explore while you do that part-time? You could.
Well, I kind of do. I do maybe a job every other week. The average job makes me $400 to $600. And so for instance, last week I did a job that made me $600. I have a job this weekend that's going to make me $200. So it does keep me afloat. Although my expenses and I am losing money right now. Like, it doesn't cover my expenses just because I don't really care right now. I'm kind of arrogant as far as it goes, as like I can always make up I know I can go start making money again if I need to.
All right, well, let's look at your financial situation and see how this actually stacks up, because, we'll see if that's a good thing or bad thing. In your checking account, you had $2,552 to start with, which, in 19 most people would be happy with. $2,169 came in, $2,720 came out. So you ended with $2,000. Let's see where that $2,000 came in from. So there was a Zelle payment that came in, a Venmo cash out, a Venmo cash out, Venmo cash out, Venmo cash out. What are these Venmo cash outs for?
Those Venmo cash outs were for, I was doing some house sitting and some little side deals. And then one's from my girlfriend who had to pay me back for something. But yeah, those are just from little side hustles.
What are the side hustles?
House sitting.
Oh,
I just have a friend who needs me to house sit every once in a while.
Okay, and then the rest is you are Venmoing the crap out of people as well.
Yes.
And then making an American Express payment and a Chase card payment.
Right.
So, yeah. And the Chase card payment was the primary for $1,826 going out. I mean, that's a lot of money to be moving back and forth, but again, that's actually not a bad thing depending what the overall financial situation looks like. So let's take a look at your savings. Now, this is interesting. There was $10,000 in there. Now that correlates with what we talked about with the window washing company. $9,000 left, leaving you with $1,000. I'd have been like, oh my goodness, we have such a great building block for financial success going forward with you having an emergency fund set up. Like, yay, great stuff. Now all of a sudden it's gone. Where did it go? Where did this $9,000 go?
Well, I have a girlfriend who lives in Savannah, Georgia, and every time I visit her, it's $400 for a flight, $500 to $600 for a hotel, and then $200 to $300 on food while I'm there. And so it's I visited her twice, and so I've probably spent $2,500.
What? Why is your girlfriend in Savannah? 19.
She goes to college there.
She's from here?
She's from Austin. That's right.
Okay, so that's okay. So it cost that much to go do that.
Right.
The $9,000 that you took out in this 1 month, where'd that go though?
Is that from my checkings or my savings?
From your savings.
Oh, I transferred $9,000 into my checkings account because that's where I pay off my cards from.
So you drained your savings to commute back and forth?
Yes.
For your girlfriend?
Yes. I drained my savings into another account.
Why can't she come home?
Because she doesn't have the money to do that. Flights are expensive.
Well, you no longer have the money to do it. $9,000 is gone. Checking account, $2,000.
Well, right now I currently have $7,000. I have $8,000 in my checkings account and $1,000 in my savings account.
Okay, so current basis on the checking account, up to date numbers is $8,000 sitting in there.
Yes.
What are you going to do with the $8,000?
I'm going to buy groceries, pay my rent with it.
So that's your runway.
That's yes.
That's your burn rate to find some magical ideas. You go. What are you going to do? Steve Jobs, trip on some shrooms in a field and hopefully get a business idea? What's your plan here? There's no plan. I'm not hearing a plan.
Well, I have, like I said, I have 5 months to figure it out. And so I'm me and my business partner, who's one of my other roommates, we basically have been spitballing, underwriting, and trying to figure out ideas.
So let's start getting some of your expenses then. What is this monthly rent?
This monthly rent is $700.
It's not bad. It's because you split it with a good amount of people.
Yeah, we got 3 people in one room.
Okay.
Or in 2 rooms.
Your burn rate, are you well budgeted out on a monthly basis then?
I don't budget at all.
Then how do you know your burn rate?
I don't. I guess it. I have I spend $1,500 to $2,000 a month.
The thing that upsets me here, because I'm okay with someone being a little young, dumb, full of completely stupid decisions when they're 19.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
but you had such a good foundation set.
Want to know something that'll upset you even more?
Sure.
So my business partner left. He moved to Hawaii, and then I was left with it all to myself. And then I was averaging $1,000 a day after that. That's why the 14,000. Like I made 9,000 with him, and then in 1 week I made 5,000 on my own, just working Monday through Friday.
Just
and $1,000 a day was super easy.
You should have just hired someone, dude. Because it didn't rely on you. They weren't hiring just for Hudson. They weren't like, oh, Hudson's a super cool 19-year-old. I'm only getting my windows clean because Hudson exists.
Yeah.
Could have hired someone. You could have sat on with your business partner in Hawaii, drinking non-alcoholic margaritas on the beach, while someone's bringing in a couple crews are bringing in a couple $1,000s a day or something. Oh my goodness, such a good opportunity. That's okay. Let's look at your credit cards. We have a Chase Sapphire. So it looks like this one's. There was a previous balance of $263, and then you made new purchases of $5,902, which is insane for your situation. Insane. That's more than half the money that's left in your checking account right now, if $8,000 is in there. But you made $4,130 of payments, which is great, but it did leave a balance of $2,034. Right. Is that what the balance is right now?
The balance, yeah. No. I paid it all off. So the balance right now is $234. I just paid that $2,000 off. So yeah, does that make sense? I have
it does.
Yeah, okay.
You're trying to figure out a new idea,
right,
and you have a burn rate to do that. But while you do that, you're doing some Bentley's firearm thing. Travel to Kira, Chapala. Beacon counseling is repeated, but is that just like therapy?
That's my shrink, yeah.
Good. Well, no, that's encouraged. Keep doing that. Never criticize that. That pops up throughout here, so you can definitely continue doing that. But should you be getting books at Michael's? Should you be going to Ben & Jerry's and Coco and Moss? And
those are all my girlfriend.
Yeah, girlfriend's a great excuse. You're trying to, you can't just justify it because you have a girlfriend. Copper Closet, Paris Flea Market, Le Macron, Austin Airport, Collins Quarter, Clyde Market, Ubering, Urban Outfitters, Kayak Cafe, Savannah HH Marketplace, Savannah Factory Row, A-Loft, which is a hotel, and Anthem at Ledgestone. For someone that's not working, who wants to... You seem to have a good grind. You seem to have a good concept for businesses. You do not seem to have a good concept for not spending the money you kind of need to survive.
I'm an impulsive spender.
That's... I don't know. It's kind of scary if this is what a month looks like. That's more than half the $8,000 you have. So the burn rate is not 5 months.
To be fair, a lot of that money was moved back to me. So, like, for instance, that $2,020 on the rent for Anthem at Ledgestone, I did that so I could hit my points bonus, which gave me a free flight. But it was Venmo. My roommates Venmo'd me.
Okay, so even if this over $5,000 went down to $3,000, your burn rate is still not good.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, you also have an American Express card.
Right.
There is a balance on here.
That's correct.
Is the balance still there at $7,833?
The balance is there at $9,540.
For how much?
$9,540.
So what are you doing, man? Because you don't have money now. You're negative. You don't have money.
I'm not negative because I'm owed $6,600. From my parents let me use my card to pay off for some vacation rental stuff. We went on a vacation to Florida, rented a house, and they were like, "Hey, our card's messed up right now. You want free points?" And I was like, "Sure."
How long ago?
This was a month ago.
Why is that not paid if it's been a month?
I just haven't really bothered my parents to pay me back for it.
It's time to bother your parents to pay you back for it.
Yeah.
So 6,000 of the 10,000 will be gone.
Yeah.
Because you have 6,000 and you should immediately put it towards this, obviously.
Right.
because just within this, you had interest charge of 169.
Right.
Whatever points you're getting is negated. You're just accruing interest.
No, because I'm interest free for the first year.
So
That's the only reason I would hold the balance for longer than I should have.
when did you open this then?
I opened this in May of...
So that's coming
Yeah, in
to
May.
an end soon.
Yeah, it is.
Do you have a plan to get this paid off
I do. I should be getting it paid off this week.
this week? What's that plan? Of the 8,000
I
sitting in there, you're taking 4 of the 8,000 in your checking account going towards here.
right.
So then you have $4,000 left to your name.
Yes.
See how this math is starting to work?
5,000 left to my name. Right? Because I have 9,000 in the checking. Or no, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4,000.
So $4,000 left. You had yourself in such a great situation where you had a base level set of an emergency fund. You could have built a business, and you started accruing all this credit card debt. And like, what is your plan? I'm not hearing a plan.
Okay. My current plan is, okay, I have $4,000 left to my name currently. If you subtract my debts from how much money I have.
Yes.
The thing is, if I need to go make money tomorrow, I can go make $500 tomorrow at like the snap of my fingers with all my window washing equipment. I can do it the next day, the next day, the next day. And I know that like my ultimate fallback plan is to like scale the window washing company if everything else doesn't work out. And like, who cares? I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. I don't have really any like any expenses that are like necessities besides for myself. Like I have to feed myself and I have to pay my rent. I can make that amount of money in 3 days window washing. And so my current plan is, okay, well, I'll just put my back up against the wall, free up all of my time so I can spend time doing, R&D on a new startup idea. And like my whole thing is like, if I'm young, no expenses, like I said, if I can leverage this time now to use it as effectively as possible and have an idea that will make me 10 times as much as my window washing company would, theoretically, if I scaled it, then why wouldn't I do that now?
How much time have you been doing this?
I've been doing this since, let's see, I stopped washing windows in like August.
That's a long time to not have an idea.
It's been like 3
where
months.
your actual runway is probably, with the spending we have in front of us, which is the only thing I can go on,
Right.
is a month
Right.
would be your real runway, but we'll expand it to 2 and be generous. Haven't had an idea in 6 months. We have 2 months left
Right.
for this groundbreaking idea.
Right.
What are you doing to even achieve this? Again, I'm not hearing a plan.
We're coming up with ideas.
You're giving me the most macro thought process possible. I am not hearing anything that is concrete.
Come up with an idea, raise money, start a business. I don't understand what's so unsettling about that.
Because that's not that's come up with an idea. Anyone could just say that, and then all of a sudden that's their life. Like, I'm not hearing anything that is like, okay, what about a certain sector that we're pursuing? And then when it comes to raising money, when it comes to, you're so confident of this window thing. When you were cleaning windows, where the information of inflation was just getting started.
Right.
That we didn't have the 2 quarters of GDP decline announced. Now, of course, this last quarter of GDP did increase, but with these Fed increase, that Jerome Powell and the Fed has specifically said they want to see economic slowdown. And they're okay to see unemployment happen in order to bring inflation under control. Agree with that or disagree with that? That's what they said they're willing to do.
Right.
You think falling back on windows, the things that people are going to cut back when in an economic slowdown, I have a feeling cleaning windows is not going to be a financial priority for a lot of people. If they're cutting back,
Yeah.
they would probably rather cut that back than cut employees from businesses. If you're
Right.
cleaning commercial properties, or if you're cleaning personal residences, if people are getting laid off, cleaning windows is probably the last thing on their priority. So there's a lot of confidence you have of this will just happen if it needs to happen.
Right.
Now, when it comes to this idea, you have no certain sector that you want to go into. When it comes to raising money, already throughout the last year, capital investments from different venture capital funds has taken a dramatic dip than where it was this past decade and rising up. That's why I'm nervous. You asked the question why I'm nervous. That's why I'm nervous.
Right. And I guess it's because I would do business in a much more unconventional way. As in, like, the network of people who I wash windows for are people who are either retired or own their own business, are not the type of people who'd be getting employed.
What's happened to those retired people recently? Their retirement funds have seen a 30% decrease.
These are people not with retirement funds. These are people who, like, started their own businesses, sold them, started their own businesses, sold them, and did that over and over and over again. Now have more money than they know what to do with.
And when people are managing their money,
Right.
it's likely in the marketplace, which has seen a 30% dip, if they are looking at what to do with their money and the best place to put it. I agree. There are going to be many people who will just spend money no matter
Right.
what. Not everyone. Again, it's just it's that overconfidence.
No, I agree. I don't think window washing is recession proof. And so I guess, I mean, I agree. It was also like, you know, I planned on doing this back in, I guess in August is when I started. And I was like, okay, I will always have window washing as a fallback. Things have changed a lot since then. I mean, obviously the markets have taken a huge dip.
Now, what about raising this money for your brilliant idea that doesn't have even a narrow concept of a sector you want to pursue?
Well, we had an idea, and then we did all the underwriting for it, and then it just, because of kind of the economic state we're in, it wouldn't have worked. Because of the fact that, like, materials to build the product we were trying to design would have been so expensive.
Okay. So then you're just trying to get onto a next idea. What if that next idea qualifies for the same thing of this is not the best time to invest in this kind of business because the economy is in the shape it's in? What do you do? What do you do in 2 months? Again, you just say window washing, but you know how much hubris is just surrounded with that statement?
Yeah, I understand. I don't know. Maybe I'll just be screwed. And I'm okay with that.
And what do you do in that situation with rent obligations?
Well, I mean, I go find a job at, like, Chipotle.
Okay. Now, I don't think everything's necessarily going to be a disaster.
Right.
But because you're speaking from this high point of everything's absolutely perfect, that's where I have to come with the counterpoint of, well, what if everything's just a burning pile of shit?
Right.
So I don't think everything's necessarily going to be a complete disaster. That being said, you could have found a very good, successful business that found yourself within, like, a potential millionaire, multimillionaire net worth in your 30s if you pursued this window washing business, if the numbers and everything you're stating is correct,
Right.
and continued to scale that.
Right.
Not 100% sure, of course, nothing in business ever is, but if the numbers you said was accurate, then potentially. That's what I wish you would have done, and then using that capital, if you had employees at a certain point that would let you pursue more things like this, you could use your own capital instead of having to raise funds into different ideas that you wanted to do at some point. It's like I'm hearing the desire for shortcuts as well,
Right.
which is a little...
Well, I don't think it's a desire. I mean, what you just said kind of contradicted itself. Okay, say I started this window washing business, and then say the economy did what it is doing now, where
Yeah.
it kind of just, like, the bed. Well, then there's my, like, the company I was starting was not recession proof. And so that was, like, one of the biggest reasons I didn't want to start it. Because, like, okay, say there is economic downturn. You're right. People are going to stop getting their windows washed. Especially if I scaled, I'd be way more into residential, deeper into, like, you know, like the middle class of, you know, residential homes would probably be, like, where I got most of my business, just because that's, like, the most prevalent market in Austin.
If you were scaling since August, you would have more of a dedicated contact list that would hopefully fall back on. Where I took issue with what you were talking about of, oh, okay, window washing will just exist. You've missed all this time of building up these contacts. Now you would just be falling back into it in a time where the economy is not as good.
Yeah.
Those are different outlooks.
Right. Well, my point is, like, I didn't want to start a company that's not, you know, economically durable at any time. Like, I don't want a company that is not recession proof.
What kind of company to you is recession proof that you would want to be in?
Any service-based industry. When the AC goes out, when HEB's AC goes out, there's, you know, they have to get that fixed, just because we're in terrible economic times doesn't mean that the AC just can stay out.
Okay, so that's the kind of sector you're looking to get into?
Partially, yeah. There's a lot of, like, just general products in the marketplace. Like, I don't know, just like the things you buy every day. Like, I don't know. I don't have, like, one specific idea. I have, like, a billion ideas.
Give us a couple. Give us a couple of your top hitters.
Well, one of the things we were working on, the first thing we were working on was it's an outdoor grill kitchen that's enclosed in it's like a big, imagine like a big modern box in your backyard, and then you go open it up, and there's a grill, a mini fridge, and then, you know, nice, like, countertops, and it was like enclosed in this little box. We went to people, started asking them what they thought of the idea. We had, like, 5 or 6 people say they would buy one at whatever our price point was at the time, which is we thought we'd be selling them for around $30,000 for the product, and then it turns out it was going to cost $25,000 to build, just because it would take 6 months to get our products in because of supply chain issues. But I mean, like we had buyers lined up who said, like, if you are at this price point, we will buy it. And then it just turns out that the numbers didn't work out, and that, like, right now it will not work. And kind of thank God we didn't carry on with that idea, because now that people's retirement accounts are getting drained and people are possibly getting laid off, that would have been a rather unfortunate business to be in, because it's such a high ticket item.
Number two,
we wanted to start a honey company. And basically our idea was, okay, everything you buy on the store, everything, like if I walk into H-E-B and go to buy honey, everything is trash. There's also, honey has like a plethora of nutritional benefits that are like that companies don't leverage to advertise and sell their product, especially when it's in a raw form. And so basically we started sourcing all of this honey. We also have
honey. I heard hunting.
No, honey.
Okay.
We have a mentor who sold a honey company for a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
Never has to work again. And so we were kind of running with that idea, and we still kind of are.
Now, of course, the organic honey market is becoming incredibly saturated quite quickly.
Well,
there's a lot of people pursuing the natural honey, save the bees type stuff. That has become, I mean, not that I don't love it. I actually do love it. I'm a big honey fan. But as someone who shops for honey, and as a Shark Tank obsessed person, there's like 5 honey businesses a season on that show.
Right.
Like it's becoming a big thing.
How many of them leverage the nutritional benefits?
Well, on Shark Tank, I know they talk about that a lot.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question. Do you think you might be getting into the game too late for honey, though?
Absolutely not. I think we're like perfect timing. There's like one other company that really is kind of focused in the wellness industry as far as honey goes, and it's the like one you see on the shelf, Beekeepers Naturals. They're kind of like the honey remedy solution for your sore throat, your coughs, or whatever it is. And so our idea is basically just, here we have 100% raw honey that has this huge list of health benefits. Let's leverage these rather than leveraging it as just like a general condiment that people use.
Number three?
Third idea? Well, that's where we are right now.
I heard that you had a billion ideas from you.
No, my ideas don't stop.
Well, I was hoping to get at least 3. I was going to stop at 3. Give me a third one. Come on.
Do you want me to come up with one on the spot? Oh, I've been doing, it's another service-based industry, but I've been doing pressure washing since I was in high school, and starting a pressure washing, and then next year cleaning business. Yeah,
and that could be combined with. So what my dad does, he also has business partners. He owns a third of the business, but they do window washing, but they also do pressure washing. They do fire and water restoration for businesses and homes that flood or catch on fire and stuff like that. So, I mean, that kind of business definitely can be conglomerated. Mm-hmm. I know it's an incredibly competitive business.
Right.
Austin Metro, 2.5 million people, lots of customers there, but you are competing with like big people like Surf Pro and stuff like that. But,
right.
And then window washing companies, I know there's also big people there.
Right.
As well. So, the honey thing. What's interesting is you talked about having more recession-proof ideas. When it comes to buying a more expensive honey, that is, probably just go to the more generic brand if you're tightening your wallets.
Yeah. Well, I think our idea was kind of to advertise it as a fitness and health product, and I think that's something people don't want to compromise on, especially nowadays when they know how important it is. So even in like the midst of an economic downturn, I'm sure that like people who really care about their bodies and care about fitness, that's like the last thing they want to compromise.
Certainly, you just have to then convince that this is an important 100%. Part in their thing. Yeah. So huge education up front would be necessary into this, which means huge marketing would be up front in this. Right. You have $4,000 left to survive. So this requires you raising money. Walk me through the process of what you would do in this situation to get this business going.
Well, we have a network of individuals who work in the health and wellness industry, and who have venture capital firms for investing in companies like the one we're trying to start. That's really the whole reason we started, is because we know, well, we could leverage this network really well, and if this product is as good as we think it is and like has as many benefits as we think, then like this could work perfectly. And so it's like, okay, you take a company, for instance, like Super Coffee. It's a bottle of coffee that's $3, and all it has in it is MCT oil and 8 grams of protein. They literally took coffee, they made it a tiny bit healthier, they took out all the sugars, and then they advertise it as, you know, this product that's going to give you a ton of energy, and it's going to be long-lasting energy. You're not going to crash, and you're not going to get a bunch of, you know, calories you don't need from something you want to drink daily. And it's like, okay, they took coffee, turned it into a kind of a fitness product or a supplement, and now they have a company worth upwards of $550 million.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been in business for 7 years.
I wonder what the percentage the owners own of that currently.
I'm not sure. I know they have sold off a good bit.
Yeah, usually by that point, scaling that much in that kind of business, they get diluted quite a bit. But obviously, you hope for the big buyout from like Coca-Cola or something.
Right. That's what. Yeah, I mean, that's what they're aiming for. I mean, say they only own 10%. That's $55 million between the three brothers. That's a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah. 55 million revenue though, not profits. Or is it profits?
Well, the revenue was around. They had their multiple of like what they were getting bought out for was 10 times their revenue.
Oh, they're getting bought out for
No.
million?
It was what they're.
Yeah, probably three times profit is usually a good traditional buyout.
It's a lot different, especially in the food industry. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had Vitamin Water. I forget they got bought out for $7 billion from Coca-Cola.
Yeah, especially if they're competing with different offers, that helps.
Right.
So it's interesting. This is the first like more entrepreneurial type discussion that we've had on here. It's interesting. Your financial situation is a mess in terms of what you spend, in terms of what exists, in terms of you not bringing in money, and then the hubris of thinking you can have the money immediately if you need to. So it's very interesting. Obviously, I hope everything succeeds. I hope the business endeavors pan out. I've definitely known lots of people like you in my life. I can't say necessarily. Man, I was hoping there would be at least one I could think of that was successful. But I don't think any have panned out. But, you know, just keep trying. Failing, it's good. You're 19. It's a good time to be a little stupid. I kind of wish you lived at home since you're here. That would be a good way to just do this now. Yeah. Just minimizing payments, eating groceries at home, $700 a rent. Though it's great here, it's a lot when you're not making anything and you only have like a couple months left of money. So, I mean, you kind of already know my thoughts on this. I would have rather you back then scaled the stuff. And it might be time to just look now to see if you can get in just work a couple days a week of window washing now. Right. Get yourself in a more sustainable position. Like if you bring in, you said you can make $1,000 a day, something like that. If you did that twice a week.
Right. Yeah.
That gives you 5 days to think about different business ideas.
Right. Yeah. I definitely didn't expect to drain my account as fast as I did. And
no one does.
I mean, it was through reckless spending, obviously, and through like very just not paying attention and just complete arrogance. And so I was definitely hoping that money would have last me a lot longer, but things came up. Like,
that's what happens when you don't budget.
Yeah, right. And so I've definitely been planning on starting to do.
And immediately get the $6,000 back from your family.
Right.
That needs to, don't push it under the rug or kick the can down the road, because then it'll just be forgotten. Then it'll be harder and harder.
Yeah, right.
So just bring it up next dinner or whatever. I mean, we all, like, I can speak for the comment section. And they'll definitely let you know, but we're all cheering you on. Just be smart about it. Get some kind of income now. Just please don't get to a point where you just have no money, because then it just gets more desperate.
Right.
Start the income now. From August, it's been a hot second. Get back in there.
Right.
Work a couple days a week if you can. See if it is still sustainable with where we are today. And then, pursue these ideas. It's great. The venture fund is certainly drying up a little more. There's obviously always money out there. Sometimes investing in a recession could be the best time. But, any final thoughts?
No, thank you for having me.
So for Hudson, obviously I enjoy his entrepreneurial spirit. That's really similar to mine and from the family that I come from. I just really hope that he takes to heart that not everything works perfectly all the time, because that's how his side of the conversation came from, that, oh, this will just happen, this will just happen, this can happen, this would just happen in this situation. So just being a little more mature with the thoughts of what real world brings. But I guess that's kind of what 19 is, right? Not a lot of experience of real world failures and gains, some, but not like a full decade or anything like that. But that's where, going forward, when he pursues all this, that kind of stuff is going to happen. And I think that'll make him into a really good entrepreneur by the time he's in his late 20s, early 30s. And obviously, we all hope he's successful. For the kind of spending he has, for the debt he holds on his credit card, for the debt he has, the spending he has on his credit card, and draining his savings, I'd give him an overall finance, and not having an emergency fund. Credit card debt is as bad as it gets. Probably a financial score of 4 out of 10, Hammer financial score of 4 out of 10. If he's able to turn it around, pay all this stuff up, and get an emergency fund, I think then he can easily bring that to a 6 or a 7. And then he's to get some traditional investing going as well by bringing in some money. So hopefully he starts working as well on the side. But I hope these endeavors work out, and yeah, subscribe and stick around for more. Thanks.